Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Sack here. In this video, I want to talk about unidentified flying objects, UFOs as they're commonly called. The reason I want to talk about UFOs is to bring further light to the fact that we have been deceived as a people with purposeful disinformation. And those who are responsible for this purposeful disinformation are people in high places who abide by a Masonic order and who refer to themselves as Zionists. The reason they want to confuse and mislead the public is for the sake of control. The more lies we believe, ultimately, the less we really know about this world. And information such as UFOs definitely contributes to this. So, the first ever UFO sighting officially is said to have taken place June 24th, 1947, in Washington State above Mount Rainier. What I want to show you real quick is why Washington State is the perfect place for a UFO sighting. Notice that Washington is the 42nd state in order of statehood. It is named after President George Washington, the first president of the United States, who was born on February 11th, the 42nd day of the year on the calendar of his time. The 42nd state is a tribute to the president born on the 42nd day. Further, the number 42 is very important to the Freemasons. George Washington, as well as many other presidents in this nation, have been Freemasons. Freemason in Pythagorean gematria sums to 42. The big way, it sums to 96. We're going to be talking about both of these numbers. Also notice that unidentified flying object has a Pythagorean gematria of 122. The first UFO sighting was made on the 122nd meridian. The Masons and the Zionists falsify history by the numbers. UFOs are a shining example of this. That's why we're doing the video. So the man who made the first observation was named Kenneth Arnold, a pilot flying between Chehalis and Yakima when he saw this object in the sky above Mount Rainier that became the first documented UFO sighting. Please notice the gematria of 47 for Chehalis. This is a very important number to UFOs. The Roswell incident was in 47. This incident was in 47. Also notice the gematria of 24 and 33 for Yakima. 24, the reflection of 42. 33, an important number all through UFO sighting history, as we will reveal. The date of this sighting, June 24th, 1947, a date with 96 numerology like Freemason. A date with a life lesson number of 51. Think of Area 51. The words conspiracy and Freemason also have gematria of 51. Also a date with 33 numerology, a very special number to the Masons, our nation's history, as well as the history of UFOs. This sighting was made above Mount Rainier. Rainier has the gematria of 47, just like the year. Rainier in simple English gematria 74, like the word Masonic. Very special numbers for these people. The coordinates for Seattle, where the pilot was by when he made the observation, 47th parallel, 122nd meridian, like unidentified flying object. The pilot's name, Kenneth Arnold, has gematria of 60, like the word conspiracy. Kenneth Arnold UFO sighting equals 123. The gematria of conspiracy is 51, 60, 123. UFOs, very much in the realm of conspiracy, no argument there. The name Kenneth has gematria of 77. The date numerology of his observation also connects to 77. This is a very important number to the Zionists. Our federal government's on the 77th meridian, known as the American meridian. June 24th, the day of the observation, is the 175th day of the year. In the history of flight disasters and more, including September 11th, the number 175 shows up. Remember, the planes that crashed on 9/11 were Flight 11, Flight 175, Flight 77, and Flight 93. When you write out the word 77 in gematria, it sums to 175, how these numbers have a relationship. Also, this is interesting, the flying disc in Ultimate Frisbee, the official weight is 175 grams. I don't think it's a coincidence, Truth Seeker. I think these are all Masonic fingerprints. These people have a massive influence on our lives, and numbers are of great significance to them. That's why understanding this language can reveal so much truth about history. Kenneth Arnold, who made the observation, is born on March 29th, the 88th day of the year. The words poison and program sum to 88. The date of his birthday also having a numerology of 47. This number is so important to UFO history. The next major UFO event just weeks after this sighting was in Roswell. Look at the English gematria of Roswell. 624, just like the date of this sighting, June 24th, 6/24. So often these events are correlated through numerology, through gematria. The Roswell crash should be reported to the public July 8th, 7/8, in New Mexico. In the year 47, New Mexico is also the 47th state. That show Breaking Bad set in New Mexico, Breaking Bad equals 47 in gematria. Almost every episode 47 minutes long. Supposedly, a man named William Brazil found debris out in a field that he was working at weeks before the Roswell incident. He reported this information to the authorities. Not much was done. Weeks later, the story would be broken, but when it was broken, they said that the debris had only been there since the beginning of July, not since June 14, when William Brazil presented it. The date of his discovery, supposed discovery, has numerology of 32, like the word America, 41, the 13th prime number, like the acronym USA. Also, numerology of 86 that day, a very special number. The words triangle, symbol, pyramid all have gematria of 86. UFOs, very much symbolic in our minds. A date with 67 numerology, the word Freemasonry equals 67. Mount Rainier, where the first UFO sighting was, also has this gematria of 67. William Brazil in gematria sums to 62 like Mason. The big way, it sums to 143, just like weather balloon. And remember, the official story was that it was just a collapsed weather balloon they found. So interesting that that syncs up so well. Roswell also has that gematria of 32, like America, like the date of his discovery. Meant to mention that. 32, a very important number to this nation. 7/4/1776 has a numerology of 32. All right, so these numbers 31, 32, 33, they show up a lot in our history in big events because they are the most important numbers to the Freemasons. The Roswell crash took place on the 33rd parallel, the 105th meridian. Remember, the words Zionism and Masonry have a gematria of 105. The 105th day of the year is April 15th, a date known for major disasters. The death of Lincoln, the sinking of the Titanic, which happened exactly 47 years apart, and both events are very much connected to the central bank. If you look up the history of Masonry, the Templars, they are the original bankers. And at this day and age, the Masons and Zionists control the banking systems and a whole lot more. Just days before the Roswell incident and just 3 days before the first UFO sighting back in Washington state on June 21st, 1947, Harold Dahl reported that on his property there were flying objects that had debris fall down, killing his dog and injuring his son. He also said that he was visited by men in black, a phrase we've become familiar with. Again, this is in Washington, the 42nd state, UFO having that gematria of 42. Notice the gematria of Maury Island where it happened. Maury Island equals 47. Maury Island, Washington, 47 plus 49 equals 96, and with the S exception, 105. Numbers we've already seen in these earlier UFO events. Maury, the big way, sums to 78, kind of like the day that the national news story went out about Roswell, July 8th, 1947. Records spin at 78 revolutions per minute. So does the propaganda in our news. Maury Island, the big way truth seeker, sums to 137. 137 is the 33rd prime number. These Masons are highly redundant in the way they code their false history. The name Harold Dahl also has gematria of 47, making you wonder if he's even a real person. He's also listed as Harold A. Dahl, which has gematria of 84. He is the first person to use the phrase men in black, which also sums to 84. Coded stories, coded information. Information put out there to instill false ideas in people's minds. The next major UFO event would be years later in 52 above Washington, D.C. This would also happen in the summer. Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. Washington, D.C. has gematria of 137, again, the 33rd prime number. The word federal sums to 33. No coincidence here, Truth Seeker. More recent history, March 13th, 1997, the Phoenix Lights incident. This is one of the most popularly reported UFO incidents in history. Notice the date it happened on, March 13th, 1997. This is a date with 33 numerology, number very much connected to the first UFO sighting above Mount Rainier, also the Roswell crash. It's a date with 42 numerology, a life lesson number of 42, of course, connecting to UFO. It's a date with 132 numerology. The reason that stands out is because this thing in the sky was a V, and in English gematria, you take the placement in the alphabet, V is the 22nd letter, and you multiply by 6. So V equals 132 in English gematria, connected to the date numerology. It's also a date with 113 numerology. The words mainstream, green screen, dishonest all have gematria of 113. Here comes a very purposeful deception of the people of Arizona. And I'm not saying something wasn't flying in the sky. What I am saying is, I'm sure these people were purposefully deceived intentionally by the numbers. Phoenix is also on the 33rd parallel, the 112th meridian. Phoenix Lights. The display went on from 7:30 p.m. until 10:30 p.m., also in military time, 1930 to 22:30, and what stands out right there is that number 223, a very important number to the Masons. The synagogue of Satan are what the Zionists are referred to in the Bible. In more recent history, there was this event, the UFO over Dome of the Rock in Israel, the home of the Zionists. Remember, Israel recognized by the United Nations in the year 47 with a 33-member vote. This video that was put out to the mainstream is a minute 37 long, kind of like 137, the 33rd prime. So again, 33 is huge to the Freemasons. It's huge in the history of UFOs. The first ever sighting, June 24th, 1947, the date with 33 numerology. The sighting in Phoenix, the Phoenix Lights, on a date with 33 numerology, as well as being on the 33rd parallel. The 52 incident over the federal government headquarters with all of its 33 coding. And then, of course, the Roswell incident on the 33rd parallel. And what I forgot to mention earlier is the location of Chavez County, CC33, plus Chavez County, New Mexico, has gematria of 96, like Freemason, like this number also heavily coded into the other incidents, including Maury Island, Washington, the numerology of the date of the first sighting. The Freemasons are very redundant with their coding, and if you know what to look for, it's easy to spot. Almost any time there's something related to the space program, it's all full of the numbers. Earlier this year, there was this story put out. The woman was wearing the shirt "Don't Panic," which caused some fear, some unnecessary speculation in some circles. Remember, these people are very much into fear-mongering. They like causing needless fear in the world. Anyhow, notice how the one astronaut has on the 42 shirt, the other one has on the Don't Panic shirt. Don't Panic itself has a gematria of 42. This is no coincidence. This is all by design. There's a lot of truth channels out here that expose Freemason symbolism, such as the Masonic hand gestures. But there's not a lot of people out here exposing the truth of numerology and gematria. I'm hoping this work spreads. This work has real truth revealing power. I can't say it enough. Until next time, Truth Seeker.